Okay, I think we're back on now. I apologize. I didn't realize we had been disconnected. I think our internet connection went down on us. So if you were able to stick with us and find us again, we should be back up momentarily. I am monitoring things to make sure that we do have a live stream going here. Looks like we're back on now at 7:17. If you go to daveontheair.com, I see somebody just emailed me and said we were on and then we just snapped off. My advice is to reload your browser, and it should begin the stream all over again. I think we're having internet difficulties here. So try that, and hopefully that will work for you. If not, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. We apparently had an interruption. We have no cable TV service this morning, and I suspect the internet went out too. We were discussing earlier the Declaration of Independence. I'm not sure how much of that you heard, but it appears that we are back on, and I know I'm floundering a little bit here. What I'm trying to do is get things back and make sure that we are good to go. So what I'm going to do is take a little break here and try to get things squared away, and when we come back, I have more for you, so please stay there.
You've got Dave Elliott.
Are you ready for a culinary experience like no other? Mark your calendars for the event of the season. Sizzle Dining is happening starting September 1st through the 30th. Picture this: a world of flavors, a celebration of taste, and a chance to make a difference in our community. Savor delectable dishes, expertly crafted by top chefs. Each plate telling a story of passion and creativity. But that's not all. Sizzle Dining benefits Blessings in a Backpack of Southwest Florida, a charity dedicated to ensuring no child has a hungry weekend. Dine with purpose. Every time you indulge in the exquisite offerings during Sizzle Dining, a portion of the proceeds will go directly to Blessings in a Backpack. So gather your loved ones, invite your friends, and come experience culinary excellence while making a meaningful impact. Share your moments with #DineWithPurpose. Sizzle Dining, taking place the entire month of September, where taste, compassion, and community come together in perfect harmony. Reserve your table today, because with Sizzle Dining, every bite counts and every meal matters.
When it comes to your health, there's no cookie cutter way to do things. Each person is individualized in their needs and their desires, and that's the case with your hearing too. Naples Audiology and Hearing Center, with 2 locations in Naples, one in Colonial Square off Goodlette Frank Road, the other in the Vanderbilt Commons at Vanderbilt and Collier Boulevard, are here to help you. They help you with individualized treatment. You go in for a free hearing evaluation, and if you should happen to need a little help from a hearing device, they can offer you the exact device you need, the exact technology you need for your particular needs. Don't let your hearing get in the way of enjoying your life. They even have devices that can cut out the background noise if you're in a big crowd someplace. Naples Audiology and Hearing Center, I've been going to them for years, and I know you should too. Believe me, you will notice the difference right away. Naples Audiology and Hearing Center, online at napleshearingcenter.com.
Hello, this is Melissa Blazier, your Collier County Supervisor of Elections, with an important message about the primary election. Collier County voters can cast their ballot early for the primary election. Polls are open daily from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. through August 15th, and locations and wait times are posted on the Supervisor of Elections website. Voters who requested a vote by mail ballot can also drop off their voted ballot at any early voting location across the county. For more information, please visit colliervotes.gov or call 239-252-8683.
Put your phone on D&D, that means do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. Talk to someone if you're struggling with mental health, because most people out here really care. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
He's always worn a mask to conceal his secret identity. Dave Elliott.
Thank you for joining us this morning. I apologize for the interruption. Hopefully you have figured out by now, if this happens, what you do is you reload your browser and I immediately start a new stream. It's a little complicated, but every time we get interrupted, I have to create a new stream to make it work. I have a few seconds of leeway if we don't have a long interruption to make that happen, but we do. I think many of you missed the story about the president being secreted out of Turkey in a recent visit. They put him they used a catering truck to do it because there was a concern about his safety after the Iranians issued a death threat against him, and apparently there was an assassination plot underway. So what they did is they used a catering truck and put him on a different plane. When he said he was on a certain plane, they had him on a different plane. The press was none the wiser to it. And it turned out they got him out of there okay. But boy, oh boy, it looks like he is a big target for the Iranians right now. They really want to see him gone. I guess that could be argued if you're a Trump fan that he's doing a good job if they're that adamant about him disappearing. Did you follow the story? Have you been following the story of the young 16-year-old from Golden Gate Estates who disappeared? There's video of her leaving her house apparently in the middle of the night, and her father was freaking out. As a dad, I can tell you, I would have been inconsolable. Well, they found her, and she's okay. Her name is Sophia Cover. She's 16 years old, reported missing from her home in Golden Gate on July 31st. After 11 days, they found her in New Jersey. Her dad told Gulf Coast News that the FBI found her in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and she was being interrogated. The dad said he plans to fly out as soon as possible to reunite with her and pick her up. The sheriff's department also confirmed she's been found and she's safe. Totally safe, said Richard Cover in an emotional video shared on social media. He said he received the news from the Collier Sheriff's Office at around 4 o'clock yesterday. Her exact words were, "We got her," and what she said to me, she goes, "We got her," Cover said. He said she was last seen leaving her home on 62nd Street Northeast in Golden Gate Estates. He said, "This is what I was praying for. I was praying for a rebellious daughter that's smart enough not to get in the car with a stranger, that's smart enough to keep herself safe. I don't like the fact that she did what she did, but I'll be honest with you, kids are going to make mistakes." According to Cover, Sophia was found staying with friends. He said, we're going to take it a day at a time. I'm going to go up and get her. We're going to find out exactly what happened. He described her as his little girl, said she lives with him full time. He said, it's just me and her, so she'll be back. He's leaving for New Jersey tomorrow morning to reunite with his daughter. He is still waiting for more information from the Department of Children and Families about how she got to New Jersey and when he can bring her home. Because she's only 16, she is not legally an adult. So I guess he does have parental authority over her. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be checking in with Paul Hiltz, the CEO of the NCH healthcare system. I've been wanting to talk to Paul for some time now. He's been very, very busy, and I totally appreciate him being able to squeeze us in this morning for a few minutes. So that'll be happening in just a couple of minutes. And yes, you're going to hear another message because, I'll tell you a little secret. You want to hear a little secret? That's how I get people on the phone during the commercial break. It won't be a long commercial break. It'll be a very short one, but there will be a commercial break. And I failed to mention, but I should because it's important. Today is the first day of school in Collier County. That means school buses, kids walking, kids on bikes, kids on scooters, kids on who knows what else, parents driving their kids to school for the first day. It could be tough out there. Please allow yourself a little extra time and patience for the people who are doing this maybe for the first time, many of them, others who are just, trying to get back into the swing of things after a few weeks off. But there are some changes in Florida law that we're going to talk about after we check in with Paul Hiltz, and I want you to be aware of it. They're not anything critical that you need to know before you get your kid in school, but it's stuff you might want to know just so you can keep tabs on, on what they're doing. Changes for teachers and administrators. Several laws took effect on July 1st, and I'll explain what those are in just a few minutes. Another break coming up, and we'll be right back with Paul Hiltz.
You've got Dave Elliott.
A minute out for Alice Sweetwaters. You know how much I love Alice's? Well, let me tell you how much I love Alice's. For the last 22 years, I have been telling everybody I can about how great Alice Sweetwaters is. From their fresh-made seafood dishes to their incredible bar, their wild wine list, the ability to eat indoors or outdoors, and I might add, some pretty darn nice gazpacho. You will find exactly what you're looking for at Alice Sweetwaters. Try the shrimp wontons, for example. They're absolutely fantastic. Or the little mini sliders, or the grouper fish and chips, or the grouper dinner, or the grouper Reuben. You get my drift? There's a lot of stuff going on at Alice Sweetwaters, including the best sandwich in America, the lobster Reuben. Check it all out at the corner of Airport Road and Glades Boulevard. Alice Sweetwaters, where they serve crabs, shrimps, and big people.
Have you finally found your dream home, or are you looking to refinance or pull equity from your home? Then call Alpha Title Services of Florida. Don't let fraud or hidden property issues, such as liens, unpaid taxes, boundary mistakes, or a cloud on title, to name a few, ruin your big day. That's why you need Alpha Title Services in your corner. They do the deep digging to complete your contract conditions and assure your title is clear in order to provide the ultimate protection on your family's investment. Before you sign on the dotted line, make sure your future will be truly yours by contacting Alpha Title Services at 239-260-1495. To protect your dream, let your realtor or lender know you choose Alpha Title Services of Florida to handle all of your closing needs. Trust the people who have been serving the real estate community since 1999. Trust the people you can call to ask questions before signing your contract. Trust Alpha Title Services of Florida. Online at alphatitleservices.com or call 239-260-1495.
When Dave talks, his lips actually move. Dave Elliott.
Okay, we're back here. Things leveled out a little bit. I know we have some technical stuff to deal with. We'll get it figured out. Don't worry about it. Happy to join with our good friend Paul Hiltz, the CEO of the NCH healthcare system. Paul, good morning. Thank you for spending a few minutes with us today.
Good morning. If it's Tuesday, it must be Dave Elliott.
Is that what we say? I totally forgot about that.
Congratulations on your new show too.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very excited. When they canceled my show, I couldn't say no. I had to keep going because there's so much this community is growing so quickly that I bet it's safe to say that more than half the people here have been here fewer than 15 years.
Well, this community is glad you kept going.
Well, and you too, by the way. The main reason I called is I wanted to get an update on the cardiac center that is being built over there. I notice you have way since the beginning gone vertical. How is that progressing?
Well, you talk about this community growing, and we are growing along with it. You may be amazed, Dave, and your listeners would too, that since you and I first talked 5 years ago, NCH has actually doubled in size. We've gone from a $500 million revenue organization to over $1 billion now. So,
Holy cow.
and the fastest growing heart program in the state of Florida, which is why we needed to build that building. We'll do 1,400 open heart surgeries this year, which is tripled from when you and I first talked.
That's almost inconceivable that you could grow that quickly and have the facilities even now to be able to do that.
Well, this new facility is just going to be something that'll be a crown jewel for Naples. It will be one of the finest in America as it relates to heart and stroke and vascular care. And we couldn't be more proud of it. It's going to be completed about a year from now. October of next year will be opening. The parking garage that you see being constructed right now will open in this November. So that'll be a big addition to our downtown campus. And we've recruited some just superstar doctors to work in that building, and along with other staff members too. So everybody at NCH is really happy about it, and we're grateful for this community who's been so supportive of the project.
On top of that, maybe you can explain this to me because I didn't follow it closely, but the facility up on Immokalee Road, and it's got an unusual name, as I recall.
Well, that project is really interesting. It's the first of its kind here in Southwest Florida. It's an orthopedic hospital. It's a hospital that just treats orthopedic, sports medicine, and spine. And it opened about a year ago in conjunction with the Hospital for Special Surgery, which is the #1 orthopedic hospital in the world, based out of New York. And we are really booming in that business, as you can imagine, the orthopedic care for total joint care, sports medicine, spine, and all things physical therapy. So all the pickleball injuries in this region seem to wind up there.
I hadn't thought about pickleball, but I had thought about a burgeoning population here. We're approaching 400,000 in the county. You, as a leader in healthcare in the Southwest Florida region, must be constantly looking for ways to expand and improve your offerings to the residents of this area. How do you make a determination when you need to build a facility for more beds?
Well, it's a complicated procedure, but we use a lot of data and a lot of people and analyzing it. And we're looking at a couple of things. One is the population growth, which is, as you just mentioned, is dramatic here throughout Florida. But two, so much of what we do in healthcare these days is moving to outpatient. And so the inpatient stays are going up slightly. But the outpatient care is really where the action is, and we're building for that future. So we don't have a big increase in beds, but we do have a big increase in outpatient procedure rooms and outpatient imaging and all things outpatient.
Are you planning to expand even further as time goes on? Do you have like a 5 and a 10-year plan that would indicate what the growth looks like?
We do. Our next big facility expansion will be out in Ave Maria. We have land there, and we're going to begin by building a freestanding emergency department, but ultimately we'll have a 4th hospital out there. and we're excited to get to serve that community and let them not have to drive so far to get care.
There was a time not so long ago when building a new hospital facility, you had to go through every kind of hoop known to mankind, get state approval. The state could step in and say yes or no. Has that process changed any?
That process has changed. The process you're referring to used to be called the Certificate of Need process. That was done away with in Florida. And now it's really a market-driven decision. So the individual hospital and health systems make determinations about when a hospital is needed. And we've been very, I think, prudent about that, not to overexpand, but we do want to keep up with the population. And I'm pleased to say far fewer people are leaving Naples now to get care. They can get most of the care they need, just about all the care they need here. And they're choosing to do that. Our market share has increased, our volume has increased, and just fewer people are leaving to get care.
When you say leaving, you mean leave the county or leave NCH? Or both?
Leaving the county. They can be cared for right here in county. We used to have people that would, in the summertime especially, would get care in Chicago, Baltimore, Minneapolis, wherever their northern home was. We see the reverse of that now, where people are choosing to stay here, get the care here at NCH, and coordinate with other doctors, in their second homes. But most of the care is done here now.
Well, that's exciting. I guess that puts a great deal of responsibility on you and your team to make sure that you are keeping up with growth and with need, to be sure.
Well, we take that responsibility very seriously. We measure ourselves very aggressively. This year we were named a top 50 heart hospital in America, and we were named a top 100 hospital, general acute care hospital in America. So the hard work is paying off, and my hat goes off to the doctors and the clinicians here who just have really raised the bar in terms of their clinical expertise and clinical excellence.
Well, since you've arrived, there has been a notable change in attitude, in philosophy, in direction, and I think you and your team get a lot of credit for that. And I as a person who has availed myself of your facility on a time or two, I can tell you it's not an experience you want to ever have to do. But if you do, you're treated very, very well.
Well, that's certainly what we try to do every single day, Dave. So thanks for saying that. We take the responsibility very seriously. We're passionate about what we do at NCH. And as I keep saying to our team, we're just getting started. But we've got a lot more to do.
All right, well, great. Well, thank you for taking a few minutes out to talk with us. And I'm going to make a vow to check in with you every so often just to make sure we're letting people know what NCH is up to and how they can help, how you can help the community.
Well, I'm always pleased to be on your show, so thanks so much for taking the time, and have a great day.
You too. Paul Hiltz, the CEO of the NCH Healthcare System, Naples Comprehensive Health, as it's called, and we will, as I promised, stay on top of things. Students across many Florida counties have returned to school for the 26 to 27 school year. For many of them, changes in Florida law will bring some changes. Several laws passed this year took effect on July 1st to make instruction in a couple of areas that, you would think you would not have to have a special law to do. Cursive handwriting. And I've been a big proponent of cursive handwriting, and I don't know how it was that Miss Maggie was unable to get cursive training, but every year from about third grade on, we would go to the school open houses and meet with the teachers. When are they going to learn cursive? Oh, next year. Then next year comes. When are they going to learn cursive? Next year. And she went through her entire high school, middle school career without ever learning cursive writing. She had to kind of invent a signature, as a matter of fact. So I've always been puzzled why cursive disappeared, and I guess the reason people were looking at was, well, people are texting now, they're writing, they don't write, with a pen and a paper like they used to. Wrong, wrong, and wrong. There are also changes for teachers and administrators to navigate, such as relaxed rules for teachers with expired licenses, training in autism and epilepsy support, changes to teacher unions, incentives to teach the controversial Florida Advanced Course Test, potential concealed carry for college professors, and mandatory reporting for visiting students who promote organizations the state says are terrorist organizations, and there's where the politics comes into it. A couple of issues. What about schools and phones? Kids are maybe going to be allowed to have phones in school, but they might not be able to actually make calls on them or receive calls or do texting or, whatever that. But kids are clever. They figure out ways to do this. There's a law that went into effect last year. There are individual schools that can do different rules, whether they can bring phones to school. But for all schools, there are two things that are going to be required. One, elementary and middle school students will be forbidden from using anything wireless, a tablet, a smartphone, a smartwatch during the school day. Period. You can't have it. Elementary and middle school. And high school students will not be allowed to have your phone in use in the classroom or during any other instructional time unless the teacher says, hey, you need to do this on your phone for research, and then it has to be in an area that they set aside for it. I think it's overly complicated. I think the best thing you could say is you deposit your phone in the office or the homeroom class when you go to school, and you pick it up when you leave school. We got along just fine without schools. Without phones or tablets or smartwatches back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, when I was in the little one-room schoolhouse. I was never in a one-room schoolhouse, by the way. I just said that for a fact. There's no need to have these phones and devices there. I'm not sure that even the school-issued laptops are such a good idea. Granted, today is the computer age, but kids, by the time they hit school, believe you me, they already know how to use tablets and watches and iPhones or Androids and laptop computers. They don't need them. There is no reason that a kid in school needs to have a device when the teacher is there to do the teaching and the kid is there to do the learning, and we don't need any distractions. I don't know why somebody can't just take the brave move and say, sorry, the phone stays away from you. Physically, it needs to be physically removed from the kid. Because if it's not, the kid is going to wind up being distracted, and you know where it goes from there. So, for what it's worth, I argue for no devices, even school-issued devices. I think it's a cop-out if you do any kind of compromise. Did you hear about? Have you heard about the Hoover Dam? What's going on there? This is pretty interesting. Lake Powell is in Arizona, and from the rim of it, you can't see the danger line. There isn't a flashing gauge or a chart on the canyon wall that warns visitors when one of the most important machines in America begins to fail. There's only an invisible number, 3,490 feet above sea level. They call that the minimum power pool. Above that elevation, Lake Powell can still push water through Glen Canyon's dams, massive penstocks, spin its turbines, and send electricity across the Southwest with no trouble. Below that level, 3,490 feet above sea level, the dam loses the function that helped justify its existence. The river still wants to move, but the machine starts running out of ways to move it. Well, Glen Canyon Dam and Lake Powell sit near the center of the Colorado River system upstream from Hoover Dam and Lake Mead. Together, these reservoirs store the water that cities and farms and power plants across the Southwest depend on. Well, now the entire system is being pushed past its limits, and Lake Powell is where the cracks are really starting to show. It's a wonderful lake. I've been on Lake Powell, and it's a great place to recreate. Since 2000, the Southwest has been caught in a mega drought that has steadily pulled down water levels in both Lake Powell and Lake Mead. I've been to Lake Mead, too. It's nice. Climate change has made the trend hotter, drier, and harder to reverse. In 2026, a very weak snowpack and an extreme heat wave pushed the basin deeper into emergency. I remember living in California, and every winter there would be a report. They'd go up to Mammoth, and they would measure with these big poles. They'd stick them down in the snow until they hit frozen ground. And that would determine what the snow, how deep the snowpack was. And I mean, the snowpack usually is measured in feet, not inches. So anyway, the Bureau of Reclamation began taking steps to keep Lake Powell's water levels high enough for electricity generation. However, Hoover Dam's hydropower output is expected to drop by 40% of its maximum capacity this year. The Hoover Dam is there not just to dam up water, but to provide hydroelectric power. It's a crisis moment for the Colorado River, says John Bergen, the regional policy manager for Western Resource Advocates. We've known about this problem for years, he said. Long before it became an engineered system, the Colorado River was a dynamic desert waterway prone to both floods and droughts. It began in the Rocky Mountains, wound through the heart of the Colorado Plateau, carved the Grand Canyon, and emptied into the Gulf of California. On October 9th, 1936, several 4 million pound generators inside the brand new Hoover Dam began turning the river's force into electricity and holding back the water that would become Lake Mead. Hoover's curved axe head shape and its 726-foot-high walls eventually made it an icon of American engineering, a single structure that could control floods, generate power, store water, supply the city and farms, spreading across the deserts of the Southwest. But now it's in danger of failing due to lack of water. You see, water is not only needed for sustenance and hydration and irrigation, but it's also needed to generate the electricity that people need to live. And the electricity does things like power air conditioning, power homes and businesses, power other devices that are necessary for life in the Southwest. You know, you couldn't live without hydroelectric power out there. So this is a big, big problem. And I'm sure that, like usual, the people out west are saying, well, when we run out of power, then we'll deal with it. I think they need to be worried about it now. And as long as we're talking about weather and lack of water and drought, the contiguous United States had its hottest month ever in July, according to NOAA. Not in the last 10 years or the measurable, but ever. July averaged 76.89 degrees Fahrenheit across the lower 48, eclipsing the Dust Bowl's July 1936 by 1/8 of a degree, records go all the way back to 1895. So what is that, 131 years? Did I do that right? Let me see. 126 and 5. Yeah, I think I did that right. It's not good when you're breaking records from the Dust Bowl, which we are in this case, said meteorologist Jeff Masters of Yale Climate Connections. He said, and that was a crazy sort of situation where you put tens of millions of people in motion. You had this great migration because of the drought and the heat that hit the center of the U.S., just a cataclysmic event in U.S. history, and we're exceeding records in the Dust Bowl. That says we're in deep trouble. But it also says that this isn't uncommon. An eighth of a degree arguably is negligible, but it indicates that even in 1936 we were having extreme heat and dryness, right? This isn't just a recent thing. Although it was unusually cool in Alaska, hotter than normal conditions blanketed the lower 48 with the most excessive heat in the Mountain West, Southwest, Northern Plains, and Southeast. The heat was so widespread that every one of the lower 48 states was at least 1 degree Fahrenheit warmer than the 20th century average. That gives you some idea of how warm it is out there. I don't even think I need to tell you. I think all you have to do is step outside to put the trash cans away after the garbage man comes or go get the mail. You pretty much know it's toasty out there. Chinese scientists have a unique thing they're planning. Now, this is, you talk about being ahead of the game a little bit. They're mulling the use of robot dogs to guard the Chinese bases that haven't yet been built on the moon, alongside wheeled and other humanoid robots built for finding resources on the lunar surface. So they're moving right along there. Thank you very much. Researchers working on a blueprint for China's lunar base revealed that one of the core concepts would be astronauts working alongside robots, according to a new study published in the journal Chinese Space Science and Technology. Somewhere I have my copy of that. I'll have to dig it out and read it. One of the concepts proposes a base staffed by 3 astronauts exploring the lunar surface with 2 robot dogs accompanying them, collecting rock samples and carrying out chemical analysis. The concept also envisions 4-legged robots, popularly called robot dogs, conducting daily patrols, environmental sensing, and cleaning astronauts' living spaces. That's what I want when I go to the moon, a robot dog that can clean up after me. Will they do the dishes? Will they complain about loading them in the dishwasher? I don't know. Robot dogs will be protecting the Chinese lunar base. I've heard it all now. They haven't even gotten anybody to the moon yet, as far as I know. The Chinese, that is. So if they haven't gotten anybody to the moon, why are they already talking about protecting stuff that isn't even there? Beats me, kid. Crude oil stockpiles in the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve have fallen below 300 million barrels, the lowest level in more than 4 decades, as global inventories stay under pressure due to the Iran war. The SPR, Strategic Petroleum Reserve, according to CNBC, fell by 6.1 million barrels to 298.7 million barrels last week, according to data released by the Department of Energy on Monday. The reserve, created in 1975, is at its lowest level since January of 1983. The president ordered the release of 172 million barrels in March after Iran choked off oil exports through the Strait of Hormuz, triggering the largest disruption of crude oil supplies in history. The drawdown in the SPR, whose authorized storage capacity is 714 million barrels, we're at 300 million now, has raised questions about whether U.S. government stockpiles are on the verge of being depleted. So things are not going well in the oil business, and as a result, oil prices ticked up yesterday, about 5%. U.S. West Texas Intermediate futures climbed about 5% to close at 82.13 a barrel. Brent crude, the international benchmark, also settled around 5% higher at 87.72 a barrel. President Trump told Axios on Sunday the U.S. is only semi-negotiating with Iran, whatever that means, after he insisted last week that Washington and Tehran were in fact holding talks. He indicated he would rely on the U.S. naval blockade to pressure Tehran rather than another wave of airstrikes. Meanwhile, Tehran is saying, we are not going to open the strait until you come to terms with a bunch of stuff we want you to do. Among the things, they want the United States to not ever publicly or in any other way disparage the Iranian people. They don't want any insults. That's just one of the things they're demanding. I think that's pretty crazy. If that's all they want, let's do that. Let's just say, okay, we won't call them scum anymore. A Porter Airlines flight in Canada was canceled last week after a young child refused to sit down and buckle up, forced the plane back to the terminal, and delayed it past the airport's runway closure. The Toronto-based airline said Sunday the parent and crew repeatedly tried unsuccessfully to secure the child in the seat before returning the plane to the terminal in Victoria International Airport in British Columbia to remove the parent and the child. Porter said removing the parent and child and their baggage delayed the Toronto-bound flight on Thursday past the airport's 12:30 a.m. runway closure, which meant everybody else had to get off the plane and get rebooked on a flight the following day. Thanks, kid, for helping us do that. I can honestly say that I've never been on a flight that's been delayed because of an unruly passenger, kid or otherwise. But I have had delays happen, just not for that reason. I think I would be pretty irritated if I was on a plane where the parent couldn't even control their own kids. Couple minutes, make it 1 minute. Before 8 o'clock, Tim Ayton will be in to give us the lowdown in about 10 minutes. Stick around for that. Tomorrow on the show, Reg Buxton will be here. Jim Watkins will be here. We're going to be talking about all manner of things with these two guys. So be ready. We may even touch on the fair tax, which is a Neil Bortz topic, and I do intend to talk to Neil about it the next time I have him on the show. Well, if you are a vegetable lover, you probably are decrying the price of vegetables these days. Most of us aren't eating anywhere near enough vegetables, and we're paying the health price for that. Meanwhile, we're also growing fewer and fewer varieties of vegetables, adding to the declining diversity in our diets. A new report published in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, that's right below that Chinese document I have sitting on my desk and I haven't read yet, by an international team of nutrition, agriculture, and botany experts, suggests that embracing vegetable biodiversity could be key to providing our own health and that of our planet, improving our own health. One person, Martin von Zonneveld, an agriculture scientist who led the research while working at the World Vegetable Center, says our existing approaches to agriculture are not enough to solve the world's nutrition problems. He said the solution isn't simply to grow more vegetables, it's also to grow more kinds of vegetables, he went on to say. I guess that's the key to this whole thing. Much of the vegetable biodiversity we need is still out there in traditional varieties and other wild relatives. The urgency is to conserve it properly so that we can use it wisely to diversify diets and climate change. Now, if you're like me, you probably have your 5 favorite things you like to eat. You know, you like to eat the steak and the potatoes, and you like the French fries, and you like the whatever. I happen to be a vegetable fan. Tomatoes, cucumbers, Like them all. Radishes. I haven't had radishes. I just had radishes for the first time in forever last week in one of the meals that we had delivered. We have these bag meals delivered where they provide the raw ingredients and you do the preparation yourself. Really, really cool. Hello Fresh, it's called. Love it. Great product. Very good. And I had radishes the other day. They were really good. The other thing that this Hello Fresh thing likes, they love scallions. You cannot get a recipe from them that doesn't seem to have scallions in some form or another. And I will admit that I like them. I just don't like preparing them. So get your veggies, kids. Don't be shy. Ask for diversity. You ever hear of an airline called Jetstar? Well, they're facing a wave of anger after announcing they plan to charge passengers, are you ready for this? To use the overhead bins. Travelers say this goes too far. Look, they got you by the short ones on this, right? You get on an airplane. Most people who travel on an airplane do not go without luggage. You have luggage of some sort. You have a backpack. You have a carry-on bag. You have one of the rolly bags that you can put up above. They know you've got it, so now they're going to start charging you for it because what choice do you have? Almost nobody travels without baggage. Jetstar is a budget Australian airline. I guess not too budget. They're nickel and diamond people to death. They say the new policy will begin in February 2027 with overhead locker access starting at about $18 US one way, depending on the route. $18 to put your crap in the overhead. I'm telling you, if they could charge you a fee for sitting inside the plane, they would probably do that as well. I don't know. Enough already. You know, they just assume that the consumer is an ATM machine for them to jump, to get money from, I guess you could say. If you're a Disney World fan, and I know there are fans out there, you'll be interested to know Hollywood decorations are already going up. Soon they will welcome one of the biggest crowds of the year. I know, it's August. Look, it's a month and a half. Let me see, August, September. It's 2.5 months away. But some longtime guests are wondering if their next visit will feel different after changes announced this summer, which many see as efforts to curb resort hopping, which is kind of a cheap and popular pastime on non-park days when you don't go to the park, like park hopping, which involves visiting multiple theme parks on the same day. Resort hopping involves visiting different Disney resort hotels, whether it's to grab a quick snack, buy a souvenir, take selfies, or simply appreciate the themed scenery. It allows guests to stay immersed in the Disney bubble without spending much or any money. So if you're going to go to Disney World soon, here's a couple of little tips for you from the people at Disney. In late June, the resort began limiting access to free resort transportation at its Disney Springs shopping, dining, and entertainment complex. Now, only guests with stays or experiences booked at Disney resort hotels can take Disney buses and boats to them from Disney Springs. Guests of Disney's Port Orleans Resort, in particular, love the move on social media following complaints of long lines for water taxis due to the popularity of Mickey-shaped beignets at Port Orleans French Quarter. Guests choose to stay at Disney resort hotels because of the unique benefits and experiences that come with staying on the property, they said. This effort helps us protect that experience for our resort guests so they can enjoy those benefits as intended. So around the same time as the Disney Springs change, Disney World confirmed it is permanently done away with its giant gingerbread house at the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. I've seen that thing. I was there one time over the holiday, and it was huge. It was a full-size house inside the resort. For years, guests have come from all over and packed the lobby as they posed for pictures or lined up to buy baked treats from a walk-up kiosk inside the gingerbread house. Going forward, the Grand Floridian will instead feature miniature holiday displays around the property. The move follows the recent addition of the hotel's Perch Bar, which further limits foot traffic in the lobby. So those are a couple of changes you'll see at Disney World. No more park hopping, and apparently no more giant gingerbread house. One thing I can guarantee you, though, and he's not in Disney World, is our good friend Tim Ayton will be here right after these messages. So stay put. We'll be right back.
You've got Dave Elliott.
When it comes to your health, there's no cookie cutter way to do things. Each person is individualized in their needs and their desires, and that's the case with your hearing, too. Naples Audiology and Hearing Center, with 2 locations in Naples, one in Colonial Square off Goodlette Frank Road, the other in the Vanderbilt Commons at Vanderbilt and Collier Boulevard, are here to help you. They help you with individualized treatment. You go in for a free hearing evaluation, and if you should happen to need a little help from a hearing device, they can offer you the exact device you need, the exact technology you need for your particular needs. Don't let your hearing get in the way of enjoying your life. They even have devices that can cut out the background noise if you're in a big crowd someplace. Naples Audiology and Hearing Center, I've been going to them for years, and I know you should too. Believe me, you will notice the difference right away. Naples Audiology and Hearing Center, online at napleshearingcenter.com.
Are you ready for a culinary experience like no other? Mark your calendars for the event of the season. Sizzle Dining is happening starting September 1st through the 30th. Picture this, a world of flavors, a celebration of taste, and a chance to make a difference in our community. Savor delectable dishes, expertly crafted by top chefs, each plate telling a story of passion and creativity. But that's not all. Sizzle Dining benefits Blessings in a Backpack of Southwest Florida, a charity dedicated to ensuring no child has a hungry weekend. Dine with purpose. Every time you indulge in the exquisite offerings during Sizzle Dining, a portion of the proceeds will go directly to Blessings in a Backpack. So gather your loved ones, invite your friends, and come experience culinary excellence while making a meaningful impact. Share your moments with hashtag Dine with Purpose. Sizzle Dining, taking place the entire month of September, where taste, compassion, and community come together in perfect harmony. Reserve your table today, because with Sizzle Dining, every bite counts and every meal matters.
Hello, this is Melissa Blazier, your Collier County Supervisor of Elections, with an important message about the primary election. Collier County voters can cast their ballot early for the primary election. Polls are open daily from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. through August 15th, and locations and wait times are posted on the Supervisor of Elections website. Voters who requested a vote by mail ballot can also drop off their voted ballot at any early voting location across the county. For more information, please visit colliervotes.gov or call 239-252-8683.
It's 8:10 on Tuesday, and as Naples grows, let's find out what Tim Ayton knows. What Tim Ayton knows.
And here he is right now, Tim Ayton, joining us this morning from out there in the world. Hi, Tim. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Dave.
A lot going on, I guess. I've been dealing with some technical issues here, so I haven't done my homework, but I know you have, and I now follow you on Instagram, which is something people can do to get the latest updates without having to wait for the newsletter, right?
Yes, that's right.
And they can do what? How do they find you on Instagram?
Well, it's the same as all my social media. It's at Tim Ayton Knows. So Tim Ayton Knows is the handle for Facebook, Instagram, X, and LinkedIn. And you can get the news I share on there. And it's the followers are growing pretty steadily. Instagram is harder to grow for me because I don't buy people like a lot of people do to raise their numbers, and I try to just have all local people because I like the local engagement on the issues,
I do too. By the way, our good friend Howard texted me, and he's excited that the place that was Mother Truckers has reopened.
Yeah, I was going to mention that today. Good eye, Howard. Yeah, K Chilero, they opened, I believe, on Saturday. At least said they had texted me that they had a soft opening. So they're probably have a lot to work out before they want to do some kind of big announcement. But yeah, that K Chilero, which is I believe we said it was a Guatemalan restaurant. It's definitely Latin. So yeah, we'll have to try that one out.
I'll definitely try it out. I like Latin food. Big stuff happening out there right now, right?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if you saw the news last night, but just breaking on your show is that the Cars on Fifth announced where it will be going.
I didn't see this.
Yes, they're going to be on Bayshore Drive on February 4th through 5th, or 5th, I guess it's 5th and 6th. It's hard to, they have a Jetport reception on February 5th and then some fashion event then. And then the Cars on 5th will be on Bayshore on Saturday, February 6th.
And where
they don't give a lot of details.
Yeah,
well, they don't give a lot of details yet, but I've heard that it will be up and down Bayshore, and there's folks are already asking about parking situations, and I would guess that they would park most of the people at the Sugden Regional Park and perhaps shuttle them over via golf cart across the new bridge, the new boardwalk there. But I don't know. I know that there's probably other spots where there's going to be parking. For instance, when they had the boardwalk ribbon cutting, they had some parking in some grassy lots that on the south side of the road, or I'm sorry, it'd be the east side of the road. And then there's that lot that they have that Rebecca Maddox used to use. And then and I think they would probably be able to park at the strip center that's right behind Gulfgate Plaza there. Gulfgate South, I think it's called. They have some empty space. But yeah, I think it'll be kind of spread out. And they also could park off lot. And I know that, for instance, for Celebration Park, they've used Gulfgate Plaza as a parking lot and shuttled people from there.
Oh, is that right? Now, I've gone to Celebration Park several times, and the parking lot, unfortunately, it's right across the cross street from them, is not very big.
No, it isn't, and there'll probably be people there too. But I think they use Slider, or one of those companies that you can call up, kind of like an Uber, but it's a golf cart that brings folks. And so I think they'll probably have parking there, and it could even be way off site, like at the Naples airport or something, and they're going to bring people in. I don't know. Yeah, that hasn't been announced yet. So the details really haven't been announced. It just says that they're excited to enter a new chapter, and that they'll be relocating to the Bayshore Drive as of 2027.
Well, that's fantastic news. I saw an op-ed in the local paper yesterday by Tom O'Riordan, who is the head of the organization, and
that's right.
He was pretty detailed in what he said happened, and it doesn't seem to bear a lot of resemblance to the city's version of things as to why Cars on Fifth is not on Fifth anymore.
No, and he put the brunt of it on the city staff more than anything.
He did, yes.
But yeah, I don't. That's what he was saying was the true story, and so I don't know, but I think that they're turning the page now, and of course they're working with Collier County now. What Bayshore is out of the city, and it's in unincorporated Collier County, so they'll be dealing with county commissioners on this and the county staff to make this work.
Well, the county seems to be a lot more amenable to these types of events, so maybe it's all for the better.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, it's just and another big cars thing. I don't know if you've talked about the Hyper Club that's proposed at the former Ford test track, but
yes.
So it's these upscale cars are big, and they've been big in Collier's past. If you remember Miles Collier back in the day, and he's the reason we have the Revs Car Institute, and Revs Institute, and he was a big car racer. And it continues, and they're going into the Collier's future. So luxury cars and fast cars have been a part of Collier County.
There are some people who are not crazy about the idea of converting this to a private motorsports club, citing environmental concerns among the things that they're worried about, and noise and.
Exactly. And it's a big property. I mean, I don't see the noise. I mean, it had been used as a track off and on by Ford and Chrysler and Harley Davidson. And so, I mean, it's the noise has been there off and on but as far as, that area will become more developed, as things push east and south, because this will be just south of the new, big town of Big Cypress and the Rivergrass and all those. And I don't know if you realize it though, but I think they're going to get this through by proposing to swap the county for the land that they own that will be part of the new Big Cypress Parkway that's planned. So it's quite a big piece of property that I think will be part of that new road, runs on their property and right directly to the east of it. It actually abuts the property. So the new Big Cypress Parkway will run right by this property and be the new interchange on the alley.
When that finally happens, yeah.
Yeah, you might want to talk to Bill McDaniel about that though, but he's told me about it in the past. So I mean, this is in the works, and that will be something that happened. Yeah, it's still years away, and as you've noted before, Florida Department of Transportation will be involved in it, and that just even makes it longer sometimes. So, but yeah, that is where the route is going to go. Though it actually starts, if you're up on Oil Well, it's not very far east of DeSoto is where Big Cypress Parkway starts, but then as it comes down, goes south, it actually veers to the east a little bit, not like a curve, but it's almost like a straight line. All of a sudden it just juts east, and that is where it runs right along their property.
Well, it's exciting stuff for the whole county. I was talking with Paul Hiltz earlier this morning. I don't know if you heard that, but he's talking about building a new hospital out in Ave Maria. And that would be badly needed for the people out in that area. Not a hospital, an emergency room.
Exactly.
But we're seeing this kind of stuff happen. So what else is shaking?
Also, I was going to say, NCH owns a piece of property. They own the last lot to be developed in the Winchester Center. They're at the Randall Curve. So they're in Orange Tree area. South of Oil Well and north of Randall they own, I believe it's a 2-acre lot, and they so far haven't announced what they're doing with that. I did talk to Hiltz about it a month or so ago, and he said that would be a good spot for an emergency center. So I think they're going to do something similar to maybe what they have at what they call the Northeast Collier Center, which now this will be further northeast, at least further east. And but yeah, so that's right behind the McDonald's there, and Winchester Center is an empty lot you'll see, and that's owned by NCH. So that'll also be, I think it's going to be an urgent care center is what he actually said. And also in that center, the Winchester, one of the last businesses opened over the weekend, that New York bagel place launched on Friday, and I tried it out on Sunday. My gosh, those are good bagels. It's the first time I've had one of those, and they're huge. Even half a bagel is probably the size of most bagels.
Do they make them the way they make them in New York?
Yes, they do. Yeah, so they're boiled first, and that's I mean, it was great. I got a everything bagel, and
I love those.
Oh, I do too. But my only complaint was it was everything and more. It was almost too much, because they do both. They don't just coat the top of it they do the bottom as well. So the entire bagel is I mean, it's a lot. And then the cream cheese, they probably put like half a slab of cream cheese on there. My gosh.
Wow. Well, you know what? You can use it as a pizza.
Well, they actually have pizzas. They call them flagels. They're flat bagels. They call flagels, and they do pizzas on them. I haven't tried those yet, but I'd like to try that.
I have something to say about that. God, Beavis, he said flagels. You got me, boy. You got me on that one the other day. That one cracked me up.
Yeah, that was funny.
And I guess we can't get too much of TJ Maxx, I'm understanding.
No, there's another one coming to where Saks off Fifth used to be in the Park Shore Plaza, and yeah, that one. Before that, though, there's going to be another. It's another TJX company called Sierra, which I wasn't familiar with, and I guess there's only one other location in Florida, and it's up in Jacksonville. But I think when I can look at it, it's kind of an outdoorsy, activewear kind of store where it looks like it's a cross between maybe Bass Pro Shops and maybe Lululemon or something like that, you know. But it's going to where Party City used to be there next to Burlington's in the Park Shore Plaza,
Right.
and as you probably know, all that whole area, Park Shore or Party City and Burlington and other or Sleep number is though that all was the former big Kmart years ago. So this is Party City closed. Of course, they went bankrupt and kind of folded themselves, I think, into Staples. But this new Sierra will be opening there, and that will be happening first before TJ Maxx comes to Park Shore Plaza. So yeah, and also in my column, I reported, I think we talked about it briefly last week, that Total Wine is coming to the former Michael's store at 41 and 951. Some people online were confused, thinking it was the Michael's on Pine Ridge Road, but that Michael's is still open. This is the Michael's down in Tamiami Crossing, so that will become Total Wine. Some people are really excited about that. And there's also, I did report about
anything to get the wine more quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be a little smaller store than what they have up north, the long time one, which moved from Caroline Place over to the Naples Boulevard area. But it still will serve Marco Island and that South Naples, East Naples region down there. So where people are excited about it. And I also reported about some new restaurants coming to the Grenada shops. You know, Just Salad is one, which the timing isn't great because of the
Cyclospora.
Yeah. So, but maybe that'll blow over by the time it opens. But it's Just Salad is a chain, of course, that does mostly salads, and we've had chains like that here before, and where you can get a wrap or a salad, whatever. And they're taking actually a couple of spaces there. They're expanding where the old Starbucks used to be, and then it became Coffee Bar. That'll be the front of the business, but it actually will extend back into what has been a number of things over the years. But it was like a phone store, and I think it was I can't think what else it was, what other business it was now. But it is expanding, so it's going to be more than the space that Coffee Bar last had. And then the other one is. I don't have much on it yet, but Vero Ristorante Italiano is a couple from Italy is coming to open that restaurant in the space of the former Moe's Southwest Grill, which closed a few months ago there at Grenada Shops. So
yeah, I noticed that. I occasionally, when I was working up in Bonita Springs, I would stop at the Jersey Mike's that's right in that same strip.
Right,
and I was shocked to see that Moe's in that location had disappeared.
Yeah, it was there a long time because when I worked at the Naples Daily News, which is right behind that, we used to go there all the time. In fact, they had like a special Naples Daily News day where you could get 10% off, I think it was. And but yeah, that was we probably kept that in business. So when Naples Daily News sold that building to NCH, maybe NCH folks don't go there as often. Plus, there's so many more options.
I think they go to Chipotle.
Chipotle, and there's a lot of options over there, and even McAllister Deli, which I was going to tell you, surprisingly closed up in that area.
Goodland and Immokalee Road.
Yeah, it closed. I guess its last day was July 27th, and I stopped over there and I couldn't believe it. It's cleared out, no signage, nothing but the booths that are left in there. So it's gone, and I have no idea what's going to come there if they even know yet. But yeah, we'll have to find out because I do know that Thai Sushi is coming to, or Sushi Thai rather, is coming to where Komoon closed last fall in that same strip.
Oh.
So, it has Turco Taco in there and Epiphany Bakery and Bone Hook. And so it'll be coming to that center.
You know,
So
I mentioned this to you. I'm going to throw you a curveball here, but maybe this is a tip. I don't know. I mentioned to you a month or so ago that I noticed that there doesn't seem to be any construction activity at the Airport Kia new location on Radio at Airport Road. I go by there all the time, and I, for the last 2 months, have not seen a single solitary sign of life there.
Wow.
I'm not sure what's happening, but I'm wondering if maybe there's an issue with the construction.
Well, I don't know. I'll have to check it out. It could be that they're in between a permitting part where they have to be inspected before they can continue to the next step. Sometimes that
that's what I
happens,
wondered
but
about.
or it could be a summer hiatus for whatever reason. Who knows? But there hasn't been a summer hiatus for me or my staff or folks. I mean, my gosh, it has been the busiest summer I can remember, and I think I may have said this last year. But I think this one is the busiest of all time. It's just nonstop things happening. So,
your comrade, your compatriot, your colleague David Dorsey reported on the sale of the Uptown Center next to Sam's Club.
Yeah, there's been numerous sales that have happened. So, Uptown Center sold for $26 million, and it was snapped up by Steve Toledes, who was the owner of Cavo at Mercado that he closed this spring. And he also owns the entire shopping center, it's a retail strip up there, Tree Farm Plaza at Immokalee and 951. He owns that. And I was chatting with him a few weeks ago about what he plans behind that. There's an empty lot, and he's not sure yet, but it could be another fast food drive-through or something, but that's like the last buildable lot on there in that little strip they call Tree Farm PUD, which is it's the northwest quadrant of Collier Boulevard and Immokalee Road. So he owns that, and now he owns Uptown Center, and I don't think he plans any major changes. I did see where there's a martial arts academy that's coming in there, and I did hear that Rusty's will be moving. I don't think it has anything to do with the sale, but Rusty's is going to the Shops at Vanderbilt in the new 2-story building. They're building there, along Vanderbilt, and they're going to have a 2-story. They're going to have a bar on the second floor. It's going to be a 2-story type of deal for them. I originally reported that they were opening a second location, but now I'm hearing that they're closing the one in Uptown. But things could have changed since the sale. Maybe they're staying off. I haven't found out yet. And then the other big sale, which is even larger than the Uptown Center, was Founders Square sold. So that was originally owned by the Barron Collier companies and a consortium that also included Trinity Commercial Group and Metro Commercial. But the majority of it was owned by Barron Collier companies, and they developed, it was the old Pelican Nursery that used to be there, like 50 some acres. And that's now owned by Kite Realty Group, who owns so many shopping centers in Collier. My gosh, Kings Lake and Tamiami Crossing that we just mentioned. And they own the Target, both Target shopping centers, the Target in Pine Ridge Crossing, and the Target on Immokalee Road. That center, and River Chase Plaza, they own a lot. So they bought Founders Square for $65 million.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, and it includes not just the point at Founders Square where all the restaurants are, South Street and Outback and Tacos and Tequila and Skillets, but it includes the out parcel lots and the Ace Hardware lot, that whole strip center as well. So it's a sizable property. So they're based in Indianapolis, and they're very hard to get a hold of. So, but that did happen earlier. And then David Dorsey will be reporting today about another big sale, Orchid Run, a apartment complex that's
in
on
East
Livingston.
Naples. Livingston, just south of Golden Gate Parkway.
Exactly, and that sold for almost $90 million, 89.
Good Lord,
89 and change. Yeah, so that's a huge sale. So Dave is great, and he does our top deals every year. and then these three will be part of it when we look back at the year.
And there's
So,
another apartment complex not right across the street, but just down the street from Orchid Run called Lago at the corner of Livingston and Radio. And I'll bet you that one's going to be on the market too.
It's possible.
It looks like everybody's snatching up these. They're considered luxury apartments, I guess.
They are, right, exactly. And as I pointed out, these are good investments because these are, even though there might be a lull in we built too many apartments at this point, but as you know, all the traffic that's the people moving here and things, it's going to be a good investment because they are going to fill up. And like I said, I don't doubt that there's some, there's a lot of vacancies and a lot of concessions. I still question how much rents are dropping. And I only had a problem with the sensationalism of some of the other media saying that rents are plunging.
They're not.
Which they're not plunging. There might be a slight bargain that you can find out there and whatever, but they're definitely not plunging. But yeah, there's just so much going on. And of course, like you had mentioned, it's the first day of school for Collier County schools today. And I wrote a nice piece about the new school buildings that some of them opened actually yesterday. Some of the charter schools had their first day of school yesterday, but today's the Collier County schools, the
public schools,
traditional schools. So first day for Ave Maria Elementary School. And also in Ave Maria, the first day for the Freedom Ave Maria, the Freedom Institute, which has a place down in Naples, has a high school spaces up in Ave Maria.
Oh, man.
And then Autism Collier Charter School now took the place where Mason Academy moved out of down on Horseshoe. So that's opening. And then the Mason Classical Academy opened yesterday. Their new it's the new school that's on Vanderbilt. So they've got spaces now at the old Hodges University off of Mockley and now here in Vanderbilt. So their classes are split along there, where this is, I think, K through 8 is at this new school, and then the high school is up on the old Hodges property. And then Royal Palm Academy also opens a new building, which is a new middle school as part, and they're on Livingston right there at Veterans Memorial on the northeast quadrant there. So that's all these new schools opening today, and as you said, there's going to be some traffic.
Royal Palm Academy, I used to go by that every morning, and all of a sudden, sometime early in the summer, late spring, they put lights on it, external lights. So this place is lit up like a Christmas tree now. But it's grown dramatically. Well, listen.
Oh, yeah.
With all of that, you still got new stuff coming on Friday in your column, I understand.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I have news about a local restaurant that changed its name because of a family lawsuit, and it's quite puzzling, but it's newsworthy. And I also have news about what's coming to the former Southwest Florida Event Center in Bonita Springs there at the Imperial and Bonita Beach Road.
I wondered, I think I sent you a little note about a place on the East Trail called Dimension Event Center.
Dimension, yeah, that is an event. So I came up at one of our staff meetings, I think last week, and I didn't know exactly what they were talking about, because there used to be a Dimensions nightclub in Gulfgate Plaza, and I thought they were talking about that, and I'm not even sure if maybe that is the space.
They just said it was on the East Trail, and I don't know where on the East Trail it was. I got an email somehow saying that because I had been there in the past, which I don't recall having ever been there, but they wanted to alert me to it.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. That's probably where it's at, because it's in that little out parcel of Gulfgate Plaza where Subway is.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what they're talking about, though. But the logo looks very similar to how they used to do their logo.
Probably.
But I don't know. But that is on the East Trail, and that's could be what it is. But yeah, there's a lot more coming to East Naples as well, or South Naples, depending on what you call it. Bora Mediterranean cuisine is coming to Freedom Square, run by the same folks who have Mella's cafe at the Shops at Hammock Cove. And then, and we talked about, I think, another Broken Egg coming to Restaurant Row,
Right.
in addition to Shake Shack, which should be opening anytime. So they're now hiring, and they'll be opening down there.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've given us a lot to go through here, and I appreciate your taking the extra. We're kind of in overtime right now, which is great, because that's just showing you that people are willing to invest in our community. If people want to read all about it in the Naples Press or Gulf Shore Business, how do they do that?
Well, you can go to gulfshorebusiness.com, and in the upper right, there's a subscribe button you can click on, and you can sign up for our monthly magazine, which is mailed to your mailbox every month. And also there's a box at the bottom you can click to sign up for our weekday newsletters that are emailed to you at 7 a.m. and 3 p.m.
Super duper. Thank you, Tim.
Well, thanks, Dave. Yeah, there's a lot more, but we'll talk more next week.
I can't wait, man. Thanks a lot, and we'll check in with you then. It's 8:37. Impossible question coming up.
You've got Dave Elliott.
A minute out for Alice Sweetwaters. You know how much I love Alice's? Well, let me tell you how much I love Alice's. For the last 22 years, I have been telling everybody I can about how great Alice Sweetwaters is. From their fresh-made seafood dishes to their incredible bar, their wild wine list, the ability to eat indoors or outdoors, and I might add, some pretty darn nice gazpacho, you will find exactly what you're looking for at Alice Sweetwaters. Try the shrimp wontons, for example. They're absolutely fantastic. Or the little mini sliders, or the grouper fish and chips, or the grouper dinner, or the grouper Reuben. You get my drift? There's a lot of stuff going on at Alice Sweetwaters, including the best sandwich in America, the lobster Reuben. Check it all out at the corner of Airport Road and Glades Boulevard. Alice Sweetwaters, where they serve crabs, shrimps, and big people.
Have you finally found your dream home, or are you looking to refinance or pull equity from your home? Then call Alpha Title Services of Florida. Don't let fraud or hidden property issues, such as liens, unpaid taxes, boundary mistakes, or a cloud on title, to name a few, ruin your big day. That's why you need Alpha Title Services in your corner. They do the deep digging to complete your contract conditions and assure your title is clear in order to provide the ultimate protection on your family's investment. Before you sign on the dotted line, make sure your future will be truly yours by contacting Alpha Title Services at 239-260-1495. To protect your dream, let your realtor or lender know you choose Alpha Title Services of Florida to handle all of your closing needs. Trust the people who have been serving the real estate community since 1999. Trust the people you can call to ask questions before signing your contract. Trust Alpha Title Services of Florida. Online at alphatitleservices.com or call 239-260-1495.
Are you ready for a culinary experience like no other? Mark your calendars for the event of the season. Sizzle Dining is happening starting September 1st through the 30th. Picture this, a world of flavors, a celebration of taste, and a chance to make a difference in our community. Savor delectable dishes, expertly crafted by top chefs, each plate telling a story of passion and creativity. But that's not all. Sizzle Dining benefits Blessings in a Backpack of Southwest Florida, a charity dedicated to ensuring no child has a hungry weekend. Dine with purpose. Every time you indulge in the exquisite offerings during Sizzle Dining, a portion of the proceeds will go directly to Blessings in a Backpack. So gather your loved ones, invite your friends, and come experience culinary excellence while making a meaningful impact. Share your moments with hashtag Dine with Purpose. Sizzle Dining, taking place the entire month of September, where taste, compassion, and community come together in perfect harmony. Reserve your table today, because with Sizzle Dining, every bite counts and every meal matters.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music.
Are you ready for a culinary experience like...
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Now, the impossible question on the Dave Elliott Show.
All right, a chance for you to win a $25 gift certificate to Alice Sweetwater's is coming up this morning. All you have to do is not have won anything in the last 30 days and be a resident of Southwest Florida, because if you're a resident of Southwest Florida, it's much easier to pick up the gift certificate, which you have to get within 30 days of winning anyway. So, you know, if you're up north and you're not going to be down here in the next 30 days, it doesn't make any sense to win. But you can still play in your mind. The impossible question for today is, it's estimated the average person has 3 of these that they wear in a rotation. 3 of these that they wear in a rotation. One day I wear one, the next day I wear the other one, the day after that I wear the other one. It's estimated the average person has 3 of these that they wear in a rotation. What do you think it is? To win the prize, call us at 305-69. I'm sorry, don't call us. Text us at 305-699-2665. 305-699-COOL is the number to call. And by the way, here's a little clue for you. The clue to the answer is they make you look cool when you wear it. It's estimated the average person has 3 of these that they wear in a rotation. What do you think it is? 305-699-2665. If we don't get any winners today, I will post the question on Instagram and we'll see. Betty Ann says hats. And Betty Ann, sorry, that is not correct. Not hats. Somebody else wants to call us, and I'll take the call this morning. Good morning. You're on the air. What do you think the answer is?
Sunglasses.
You're right. Who is this? What's your first name and where are you calling from? Who is it?
Naples.
Say it again.
Valerie from Naples.
Valerie from Naples?
Yes.
Valerie, you're the winner this morning.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And I have for you a gift certificate to Alice Sweetwater's. I'm going to call you after the show and tell you how you can claim it, okay?
Okay.
Congratulations
So
to you. That you're the smartest person in town, Valerie.
cool. Yay! Thank you.
Are
You
you
made my day.
you live in East Naples? Where do you live?
I live
I didn't mean for it
East
to be a
Naples.
tough question.
Yes. East Naples. Yes.
All right, very good, Valerie. Thank you for calling, and I'll be in touch with you shortly.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations to Valerie, who is the winner of our impossible question. See, even sometimes when I least expect it, I get the best answers. Valerie, the winner this morning of the impossible question. The answer, it's estimated the average person has 3 of these they wear on a rotation. Sunglasses. Valerie knew sunglasses. I'll still post it on Instagram just for a few laughs. You know, it's cool to be Joe Cool. Don't you agree? Well, 7-Up. You ever drink 7-Up? Remember 7-Up? Remember the old days when 7-Up was the lemon lime drink? They used to call it the Uncola. This is our cola nut. This is the Uncola nut. 7-Up. That was the great actor Jeffrey Holder. I just did an imitation of him. I don't mean it was really him just talking. But I loved Jeffrey Holder. He would hold up a lime, and he'd say, well, first he'd hold up a cola nut, and then he'd say, this is a cola nut. Then he'd hold up a lime and say, this is the Uncola nut. 7-Up. Well, 7-Up, which popularized lemon lime flavoring when it rolled out nearly 100 years ago, is changing its taste for the first time in 15 years. I didn't even know that 15 years ago they had changed their taste. I thought lemon lime was lemon lime. They permanently reformulated its recipe as it faced increased competition, slightly reducing lemon for a kind of a lime-forward taste in response to younger drinkers' thirst for citrus flavors. Bringing lime more to the forefront is an improvement, but not that anything was broken, said Drew Panayiotou, Chief Marketing and Innovation Officer at parent Keurig Dr. Pepper. The new formula took 2 years to develop. He said, "We always want to make sure our existing users love it, and it's exciting for that next generation." The changes are especially geared to younger customers. Keurig Dr. Pepper's research shows that 72% of Gen Z and Gen Alpha drinkers prefer citrus-forward flavors like lime. That's reflected in the flipped words lime lemon, boldly displayed on revamped packaging, along with a new vertical logo. 7-Up's refreshed recipe will also be used in cherry 7-Up, as well as zero sugar versions that debuted in mid-August. Lime lemon 7-Up. Okay, somebody sent me a text. I'll have to get with them and figure out what they're saying here. So 7-Up is going to have an all-new flavor. I'm going to do this next story. This is only because I want to make it clear I'm not making any kind of political statement or any aspersions, casting aspersions on anybody but the news media. I'm casting aspersions on the news media by reporting a story from the Mirror U.S. this morning. President Donald Trump's hair seemed to undergo makeover after makeover this week, meaning last week, said the Mirror, with social media users pointing out the changes to his signature coif throughout the week. This is from the Mirror now. All the things they could be talking about, they're talking about his hair. Before the president, who has been accused by his own staff of letting his appearance go on purpose after a sloppy discovery, says the Mirror, made an appearance in Las Vegas Wednesday. His hair blew up, exposing swaths of his scalp. During the event, many onlookers noticed how strangely voluminous it appeared, says the Mirror. Later, as the week wore on and he had other events to attend to, his hair seemed to shift in color and size, with ex-users comparing his look to Robin Williams' beloved character, Mrs. Doubtfire, and Trump's own mother, Marianne. This is what the media seems to be obsessed with in the President of the United States. His hair. I mean, his hair is a prominent part of his persona, to be sure. And I have noticed that sometimes, have you noticed this? Sometimes it looks silver and sometimes it looks blonde. Is it the lighting, do you suppose? I don't know. Wacky but true. The case of a man who is involved in the black market sermons. He said, "I'm going back a bunch of years for this whodunit." I am, really. How about 1988? An Italian priest started a feud with his fellow clergymen, accusing them of stealing his sermons. The good father claimed unknown parishioners in his church were jotting down his sermons and distributing them to other clergy throughout Milan. The priest was reportedly indignant about the smuggling of sermons and wanted the plagiarizers brought to justice. He told a newspaper that he knew for a fact that one local priest had obtained a photocopy of one of his sermons from the black market. You can now buy sermons on the black market, I guess. And finally, as we call it a day here, 4 things you didn't know yesterday. By the way, this is for our, before I do that, for our texter who wanted to see me live in the studio this morning. You ready for this? Here I am. Here I am. Note the short hair. I'm still here. I'm still live. I'm doing this for the person who wanted to know why I don't go live in the studio 15 minutes every day. You want to look at this face every day? No, you don't want to do that. You definitely don't want to do that. So there you go. That's just for the benefit of our texter who wanted me to go live. By live, he meant video. 4 things you didn't know yesterday. If you drove at 70 miles an hour, it would take 19 weeks and 5 days to drive to the moon. I wonder what the tolls would be like there. Another thing you didn't know yesterday, there are an estimated 20 quadrillion ants on Earth and only 7 uncles. No, these are ants, the little 8-legged guys. Another thing you didn't know yesterday, if you sum up the total length of hair a man's face continuously produces over 50 to 60 years of shaving, the combined output would be 25 to 30 feet. And finally, the last thing I'm going to tell you that you didn't know yesterday, if you drove 70, humans may experience several dreams per night, potentially around 1,460 or more a year. Humans experience several dreams a night, maybe as many as 1,400 or more a year. That's going to do it for today. Thank you for joining us. I apologize for the little interruption at the beginning of the show. If this ever happens to you again, just reload the page and I'll have a new stream up as quickly as I can if one goes down. I think we're having internet issues here. Got no TV at the house, so something's up. Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.